Yeah, safe, honey. Tell your baby daddy to find bitches here. Hello, everybody. I'm Alex,
And I'm Mary,
and this is
lawyering out loud.
a podcast about life, lawyering, and
All the things we're mad about.
friend. For the first time in a long time, we actually might not be this mad this week because we've been resting, right? Or are you still mad?
Oh no, girl, it's like a give and take. It's like I'm mad and then I rest and then I'm mad again. And it's just, we're forever mad. We're forever mad.
Yeah, but we ain't never mad when we're on vacation, though, boo.
Okay.
Before we get into the episode, we want to tell our friends who have come to expect a weekly dose of extraness from us. Sorry we're not there, but we told y'all from jump we were doing this for fun. And some weeks it's gonna give, and some weeks it will not give. So my bad, but your girls were resting and we just could not squeeze in a recording. Our apology, but we are in the business of trying to practice what we preach. So we were quite unapologetic about our little time off. We hope that while we were gone, you got a chance to do something you enjoyed because your girl did do that. We did rest.
And what did you do?
I went on vacation to Mexico with my Black woman tribe to a retreat. And then I went on a trip to Portland with my spouse, who has just started a business in Portland. And then we went to Chicago. We have it all over, but we had a great old time. Your girl is well rested and happy.
You
Done got
look it.
myself yet another little hairstyle.
And I was gonna say, and your face looks refreshed and doing its thing.
Thanks, girly. So tell us about you. What did you do? What have you
Girl,
been
it
up
was
to?
the first vacation of the year. I can't remember the last time I took a vacation to Bermuda.
Hey!
I will be back. Oh my gosh, we went for cup match, we danced, we drank, we ate, lived our best lives. Best lives. Myself and a group of my friends. Girl, it was you and I barely spoke, and we don't do that. It was DND. I was disconnected. I was at the pool,
Good.
at the beach. It was very much needed.
And I am glad you were unavailable, bitch. I was like, look at this bitch living it up. I love this for you.
Like, friend, I needed more in my life because realizing the difference that it made coming back and seeing how refreshed I was and how I was able to see certain things with new eyes and like new energy, even at work.
That's wonderful. So, anything that stuck with you, any takeaways from unapologetically leaning into rest for the last week and a half, 2 weeks?
Surround yourself with people that encourage it. Because, first of all, you've always encouraged it in me. But I feel like even the people that I was with were encouraging it as well. And we're trying to practice that as well. So we were very much in tune. Everybody was like, you're off, I'm off, we're off. You know what I mean? So it was very much encouraged. With you, I don't even have to say it. I feel like you didn't reach out to me at all to not stress me out about the podcast or anything like that. So that's what I'm saying. Surround yourself with people that are intentional about your rest.
I'm so happy you rested, you're disconnected. The kind of work that you do is extremely stressful. One of my clients got detained by immigration towards the like tail end of my vacation. So that made things a little hard because I had to jump into like crisis mode right as I came back. I think that's the thing in the profession that we are in, is that a very regular day could turn very intense very quickly.
Right.
So if you don't take time for intentional rest, like you're gonna crash and burn.
Right. For sure.
Rest is a necessity. We
Right.
treat it as a luxury. We treat it like, oh yeah, you went to Bermuda, you went to this, you went to that. Like, of course you spend money and it's a luxury that a lot of people don't have. It's privilege, but you don't have to travel to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really not a luxury. It is a necessity for your body because particularly you, and if you don't want to talk about it in the podcast, that's fine. But I feel like the weeks leading up to the vacation, you were sick almost every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you took a whole flight, was in another country, was in public events, and you're still not sick. So clearly it's not an immune system like problem. It's really just exhaustion.
Mm. Mm. Wow.
What do you think of that?
No, I feel like, listen, I was, I started getting that sick ever since I started back doing the work that I'm doing. I know my issue that I have to deal with is that I don't know how to give, I either give 100 or I don't give anything. And with as many clients as I have, I feel like I need to give 100 at, like with all of them. I know that that's what's running my immune system to amok. Like I know that for sure. And it's so crazy that you highlighted and bring it up. I have a friend who had a baby 9 months ago, and I haven't been able to go see the baby because, like you said, all these weeks I've been just sick. And my fear is like, well, COVID is back rampant in the jails, and I go to the jails almost every week. There's some like RSV that's also going around in the jails. So for me, you bring it up and say that it might not be immune, but for me, it's always like, is it possibly that I got something in the jails? Because it's usually always when I leave the jails that I get sick. But you're absolutely right. You're
You
absolutely right.
also usually do your jail visits after a whole week of work where you work like 50 plus hours and you're tacking on jail visits on weekends where you should have been replenishing and you're
Right.
like working more. So your body is crashing after the jail visit, but also if you caught something at the jail, you wouldn't feel sick immediately after the visit. Like it seems as if your body is just telling you I'm at my breaking point because literally we have been like trained to be like, okay, 5 days, 5 days, 5 days, and you get to Friday and you still going. So your
Right.
body's like, when am I gonna get a break?
It's so funny that you say that because I was just out to dinner and I was asked like, "Oh, what are you going to do tomorrow?" And my answer was, "I think I'm going to go to the jails tomorrow." So it's so funny that you say that. Right. Right. Yeah. Right, friend. Right.
Let me move my beautifully, delicately placed curl to the side of my face so I can look at you. Actually, I can't see without my glasses. Let me put my glasses on so I can look at
No, you're right. No, no, no. I know. I know.
you. You could go to the jail Monday.
Yeah. I can.
We're recording this on a Saturday. Tomorrow that you're referring to is Sunday. You could go to the jail Monday.
Yeah.
You could go Monday. Okay. Now that we are done with this, let's go back to talking about the fun time. I've never been to Bermuda. Like, how would you rate it? Like, should I go?
Girl.
Tell our
1 out of
people to
10
go.
out of 10 recommend. It's a 20 out of 10, girl. It was so freaking good. Like the people are so nice. Oh, the water it might be the most beautiful beaches I've ever been to. And I feel
I,
like I've traveled to a few beautiful places. Wow. Bermuda was stunning. Stunning.
I saw the video that you sent me of the water, and as you know, I'm a traveler. Like, I've been to a shit ton of places, but I've never been to Bermuda. I wanted to grab your phone and throw it away. I felt like you attacked me when you sent me this beautiful water because I had already come back from my vacation and I was deep in like detention BS. So I was like, she shouldn't have the right to enjoy this time without me. I want this phone in the garbage.
Honestly, it was like no island I've ever been to. It
It
was
was
beautiful. Every event that we went to, like, and it felt super safe over there. It was Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Yeah, so shout out to your friend for Bermuda who took you to Bermuda. You's a real one.
Actually, I've known her for close to 20 years, and this is when she's taken me. It was almost like she was ashamed of me, but now I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, Bermuda.
Um, I just give her a shout out. So don't ruin the moment. At least she took your ass.
No, listen, forever thankful because I will be back. Bermuda, I will be back. And we went specifically for this weekend, which is called Cup Match, right?
Mhm.
So it's a huge cricket event.
That kind of threw me off guard a little.
Yeah, they're huge on cricket. It was a
Okay.
it's a huge cricket event, 2-day event. And then on Saturday we did this thing called Bacchanal Run, which is like they even give you a little bib number, like if you're running a race. Your girl thought she was an athlete, and she is. And girl, I've been saying that I want to run a race before the end of the year. I could run if music is involved, especially soca. Like I can run a race if soca's
What's
involved.
preventing you from having music? If you're doing a 5K, just put your AirPods on and just start
No,
running.
I want a truck. I want a truck with music and liquor.
Um, that's called carnival. That is not called a
Right.
race. That is not called a race. Mm-mm.
Correct. But here's the thing. So
We'll
it's
do
kind of
Miami
like,
Carnival then. You in Miami?
ma'am, I paid for Miami Carnival last year. I only made it through 2 events. I couldn't even make it to the Sunday event that I had paid for. I paid to play mass and I didn't make it. My costume is still in my closet.
But where this year then? Shit, who gonna check you, boo?
Correct. Period.
Hmm.
And I might.
So that's really cool. So I'm like super excited to hear all about your vacation because it's not too often that we get to talk about our vacation like
Right.
simultaneously. So it's kind of cool that we're both on vacation at the same time. I'm really, really happy that you had a wonderful time. But one thing that you said that caught my attention, and it's like the perfect segue to our next thing, is that you felt like an athlete because we had some pretty interesting things happening at France, Paris at the Olympics. And is it me or is it a shit show?
All of it. All of it.
I mean, I feel like if somebody told them this game was a whole bunch of black people who were living peacefully and needed to be colonized, they might have gotten it right. Since it did not involve colonizing,
But it did. Did you not see this bee? I'm sorry, I can't. This breaking Olympic sport thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's start with a lighthearted story because there's a lot of good stories. So we're gonna break it down because we got to talk about all the stories.
right.
The Olympics. So this is gonna be our like lighthearted episode after the last episode that we had because it was
Yeah, yeah,
so.
yeah. We had a very deep episode.
Folks, let me tell y'all something. This is the episode where when we talk about something, you got to take your phone and Google. Go ahead and take your phone and Google with us because Australia sent a break dancer to represent them in the Olympics. And can I tell you something, Mary? This is a question. I felt misguided about the Olympics for the first time since the history of the Olympics. Because my entire life, I was always made to believe that each country sent their best to the Olympic. And I said, I know Australia is a white place, but this cannot be the best again. There ain't no way. There ain't no fucking way. I said, there's no fucking way. Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. I want my money back. I don't know who in the breakdancing committee is besties with this girl and said, I'm about to give you some clout, but this can't be the best Australia can do. There ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. What was your take on this
First
shit?
of all, I want you to know that the first time I heard about this was on an Instagram video, and the Instagrammer was saying that she was sleeping and woke up to the Olympics playing in the background. And she said she thought she woke up to a nightmare because she woke up to a white woman with a do rag on and breakdance or breaking, whatever that is. I had never heard of this before, ever. So I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. I was like, at this point, Australia could have just get themselves their little breakdancing committee. I don't know what the fuck it's called. They could have done just got themselves a round trip ticket to the Bronx and pick up any random kid they found on the street in the Bronx. They would have done a better job than this
They
shit.
could have sat this one out.
Miss Rachel Gunn is gonna have to give me my 5 minutes back or whatever amount of fucking time I spent watching her clown ass do that dumb shit. I said, my goodness. It was painful to watch. I was getting secondhand embarrassment, and she didn't even look like she was embarrassed. This is the problem with whiteness. You bitches be out here looking corny as hell, and y'all not even embarrassed.
But let's talk about it. Gunn has a PhD in cultural studies, according to her LinkedIn page. She's interested in the cultural politics of breaking. I was never going to beat these girls on what they do best, their power moves. What I bring is creativity.
No, what she bring is cultural appropriation. You know what she sounds like? Remember a few weeks back, we did an episode on an author who said he wrote the best book on race relations in America. This one
Yes.
she sounds like. It's so funny how all colonizers just sound the same. Like anytime you meet a colonizer, they just all sound the same. Like you bring creativity.
Can we talk about homegirl from Lithuania who wore the do rag? Her B girl name is Nika, Nicka, Dominika Bonovic, I believe is the name.
Man, can I tell you something that frustrates me a little bit about the ancestors? I just feel like sometimes ancestors don't take notes. Mind your business. Do what y'all gotta do. Be on your ancestor business. Don't listen to me, okay? But I feel like sometimes when we see these cultural appropriating blackface bitches do shit like this, like I need the ancestors to be instant with the karma. Like the only thing that would make sense for me is when that bitch that grew out of her entire fucking head of hair just fell off. Like every single piece of hair, every strand just came out straight with the do rag. That's the only thing that would have brought me any sort of satisfaction. What the fuck is the white bitch wearing a do rag?
Well, let's see if they bring back breaking next year in the next 4 years.
Honestly, I hope not. And if they do, it needs to be racially segregated. Non-blacks need not apply. Actually, not
um,
even non-blacks, because I feel like, particularly in the northeast of the United States, like breaking is part of like Latino culture too.
Latino and the Asian culture too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I'm sure like some of the East Asian culture countries, particularly, I'm sure they ate that shit. I'm sure Japan, China, I'm sure they ate that shit. I ain't see their performances. Of course, the clown from Australia uh done steal the show.
And you said we were going to start with the lighthearted one, so we started there.
Mhm.
It's not lighthearted, but we could talk about how I was reading some articles about how the living conditions of athletes at the Olympic Village was not it, and how many of them had to leave. Or those of them that could afford it left and got hotels instead.
Mhm.
But it left people who aren't the LeBron James, aren't the multimillionaire people to stay in these conditions because
Yeah,
I
there's even rumors that that's why some of the runners from Jamaica were not able to participate because transportation was inadequate, housing was inadequate, so they had to find their own ways, and then they were not admitted to train on time. I mean, none of this has been confirmed, But what I'm going to say is this: I do not watch track and field. I do not practice track and field. But when I do watch the Olympics as a Caribbean girly, I watch it for the Jamaicans. Okay.
Period.
I watch it for Shelly Ann Fraser. Wait, is that
Period.
her last name?
Yes.
I watch it for the girls who be breaking the records and be winning the gold medals from the yellow and green island. You know what I'm saying? This is why I'm here. When I see the money, that's what I'm looking for. Now this year, my girl Sha'Carri was here. I was pleased. Because I like to see Sha'Carri. I was very happy to see St. Lucia come out on top,
Yes.
in
I
their
cried
very
with Sinisha.
first medal. Go St. Lucia! Hey, go
Yes.
St. Lucia! Hey, go St. Lucia! Hey. But I was still disappointed that I didn't see my Jamaican girls. I must say they weren't there. We all know that in a way Jamaica kind of make a name for itself in that particular sports, having dominated both men's and women's track and field. So it's extremely frustrating to think that the French colonizers might have had a hand in them not being able to participate.
So, from what I read, apparently they changed some of the rules
Mm.
that in order for you to go for the games, you had to be transported from the village, the Olympic Village, in a bus provided by the Olympics, right? And because some of them were not staying in the village, that's why they're saying that Sha'Carri, at that race that she finished second, that she looked so worried because she had to walk an hour to get to a location for them to let her in, which caused her to miss her warm up, and that it's the reason why Shelly Ann Fraser sat it out because they felt like it was going to harm her race since they didn't let her warm up and they didn't let her go in where she was supposed to go in. One of the things that the articles that I've been reading is that they're looking into why would they change something last minute, and that apparently some of the athletes didn't know that this change had happened.
Mhm.
So because it was done so last minute and it penalizes them.
Yeah, for sure. It was fucked up. The girlies like me who like the Jamaican girls, very upset, highly frustrated. But as a Haitian, this my history of frustration with France could not have started in 2024. So I will get over it. But I would say there's a very valuable lesson in what we think happened. We don't know the facts. But if the rumor is true, I'm very proud of the girls. Because when you're a bad bitch, you got to know to excuse yourself when you are not celebrated. I'm very proud of them because they should not put up with no disrespect. Because, with all due respect, if Jamaica's not there next year, I ain't watching. We're watching this shit for the girls, and the girls know we're watching for them. And a story. Next,
With that being said,
did you
are
hear?
are we ready to go with Iman Khalif? Girl.
You go first. You tell me because I'm about to go on a whole fucking rant. So you do your thing before I just go off.
So she is the Algerian boxer and she just won gold for boxing. But the craziness that led to this, right? So apparently she went up against an Italian boxer,
Mm-hmm.
Cato, within 45 seconds of the match starting. And the Italian boxer, I believe her name is Angela Carini,
Mm-hmm.
starts to say some things about Cleve, saying that she's a transgender woman and therefore she shouldn't be in the women's Olympics boxing. It just created a snowball effect of a lot of hate that received on the internet. They were asking her to step down from the Olympics. gendering her, and even the fact that they asked her to provide a birth certificate. I also want to point out, though, that this started because previously they did a test on her and she had high levels of testosterone, which in the end, the Federation ended up saying that the test was misleading and it's not that she is a transgender woman, but the people took it and ran with it and made her last 2 weeks a living hell. No thanks to, in part, this Italian white woman's tears who was crying and claiming that she shouldn't be in the same round as her. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so first thing I want to say is, you know what else gives cisgender women high level of testosterone? PCOS. Any other hormonal disorders? Menopause. Anything that affects your hormones, like pregnancy. So many freaking things can cause spikes in testosterone. There's 3 things I would like to touch on. Number one is, why is it that white bitches cannot contain their inner Karen for not one? There is not a place where white bitches exist that they do not Karen. Bitch, you are in a competition with the best in the world, and your ass couldn't just leave. Your ass couldn't just be like, I'm gonna take my L and go home. Y'all always gotta cry white women tears. Okay, that's number one. And 1B, the subset to that is, this y'all game. Y'all invented the Olympics. Clearly, y'all not good at nothing. Y'all can't break dance, y'all can't box. Clearly, none of y'all asses can't run. Why don't they have a crying competition in the Olympics so y'all could win something for a change? Because y'all ain't really good at nothing else but playing the goddamn victim and crying all the fucking time. If they have a crying competition, they could put Miss Caridi on there. I know her ass gonna win, along with all of them other Karens all over the globe, always crying white women tears for no goddamn reason. If you ain't good at something, bitch, don't compete in it. Plain simple as that. Your ass went to box and you're like, oh my God, I got boxed. Bitch, what the fuck you thought was gonna happen, huh? What the fuck you thought we was there for? Looking pretty? You ain't see the bitches that wanna look pretty. We get on camera and do podcasts, bitch. We don't go try no box. Cause we know if we went and boxed, Miss Khalif won't take us out. If I try to box with Miss Khalif, I'm not gonna listen to the story. She gonna knock me out. Yeah. Or if I survive my teeth in. Cause she the best. She's literally the best in the world. That's how it works. That's the point of the Olympics. The second part that I would like to talk about is the irresponsible journalism. Because everybody want to talk about the fact that she done knocked out this woman and this woman this and this woman that, and who's cisgender, who not, who transgender, who not. But nobody talk about the fact that this was not her first time in the Olympics. She came last year and lost. So last year she was cisgender when she lost. This year she transgender because she won.
Right.
Or maybe last year she lost, went back home, rather than crying white women tears, got to training, got good, and came back and knocked your dumb ass out. I'm so sick of journalists. It didn't take you nothing to have known that this was not the first time that woman was here. And you had to be like, yo, like, we have to report this responsibly. We have to say that this is not this woman's first rodeo, and she ain't win last year. No, y'all sat here because y'all a whole bunch of transphobes. Y'all ran with the narrative that, oh yeah, the debunked International Boxing Association had done some raggedy ass test on her that's not even legit and said some BS. So now, this is a story gonna run on.
Let me read this real quick. Carini apologized on Friday. This took place a week ago. This Friday, she apologized for her treatment of Khalif. I'm sorry for my opponent, she told the Italian outlet La Gazette. If the IOs said she can fight, I respect the decision. It wasn't something I intended to do. Actually, I want to apologize to her and everyone else. I was angry because my Olympics had gone up in smokes.
White woman of her. I'm not feeling good, so everybody's day gotta be ruined. She literally stole that woman's moment in history from her over some bullshit.
Mm.
You know what that reminded me of? That white woman who lied on Emmett Till just for shit and giggles.
Oof.
You went and just lied on that girl for nothing. Because what? Because you knew your ass couldn't win. Now, if I'm miserable, every motherfucker gonna be miserable.
Girl, did you know that Trump, Elon Musk, and J.K. Rowling and someone named Logan Paul mentioned all of this?
On the transphobic train, yeah.
J.K. Rowling said, "Watch this and explain why you're okay with a man beating a woman in public for your entertainment." Is she for real?
J.K. Rowling is the biggest fucking transphobe there is.
I mean, we knew that, but she's out here spreading misinformation, which is crazy.
That's okay. She lives in the UK. Iman, I don't know if you know this, but in the UK, you could sue her and win.
Oh,
Do that. You
I
know how
thought
I
you
know
were gonna
that?
tell her to fight her.
Oh yeah, you could knock her ass out too. We're sick of her. But also, you know how I know this? Because there's a trans woman in the UK that some influencer when they searched it about, she sued her and won. So, girl, go ahead and get you an attorney in the UK and do your thing. Get yourself some Harry Potter royalties,
Money.
baby. What that money long. Make it longer than that arm that's slap the shit out of stupid ass Italian bitch. Get them coins. Or what?
Alexandra.
What?
Nothing, friend. Nothing. You're
She
right.
need to be rich. Let me say something to you. The problem with infamy and like negative publicity is that more people know of that scandal than they know that she's a gold medalist.
Period.
There's people right now who are talking about her who don't even know that the competition went on and she actually won gold.
Right.
This woman's legacy is tarnished by bullshit. All that was needed was a Caucasian woman with some tears. No proof, no facts, nothing. And her whole legacy, all the work that she did to get prepared to represent her country, down the shit because some stupid ass white bitch wanted to cry about what?
Mm.
And then also, can you allow me to indulge in my last point? Because that's where I'm
Go.
really going to be talking to bitches.
I'm scared, but go.
I would really like to have a conversation with cisgender women about transphobia. Okay. This is where y'all come a little closer. Come closer. Remember when I told you bitches that transphobia is gonna hurt you too, motherfuckers? This is what I meant. Particularly women of color. You're gonna need to learn to understand that womanhood is for European white women's. Womanhood is not for you. The minute that you prove to be better at anything than these white women, they are going to weaponize womanhood against you because
Mm.
womanhood is not for you. You see, the problem is not that Khalif won. The problem is that Khalif was a woman who was tall, who was African, who was not white, who had the audacity to think that she could come and claim womanhood and be better at it than the next bitch. Mm-hmm. Remember when I told y'all that allyship could serve you? This is the kind of shit
Mm.
I was talking about. You see, now we have entered POC land because Khalif is not white, but she's definitely not black. Remember when y'all sat here and kikied about motherfuckers calling Serena Williams a monkey, a man? Remember when y'all laugh about that? Remember when y'all laugh about people saying Michelle Obama was manly because she was fit and worked out? Remember that part? Remember the part when y'all laughed about Megan the Stallion and said she deserved to be shot because she was not a woman? Remember that part? Yeah, that's the part I'm talking about, okay? Y'all thought it was going to only be for black women? No, 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 baby. It is for every cisgender woman who ever make their delicate white flowers feel less than.
Mm.
I told y'all that when y'all sat here kikiing, talking about these and these people are not real women. Well, bitch, show me real women then. Show me real now. Show me some real women. That girl, y'all don't dig up pictures from when she was this little tiny, wearing her little funny looking dresses like we all were. So it's not shade. My mama had me looking funny too. It's not shade. We all was looking funny because our mama sense of fashion went too great. Bless their souls. They tried their best. And like, she's been a little girl. What I gonna do? What I gonna do? Digging up her pictures and all of that. That didn't do shit. The harm was already done. But if y'all stood on business,
Mm.
when we told y'all to stand on business, when she tried to push that transfer, everybody would be like, and so what? And so what? She's trans. And so what? Is this not a competition for a woman, trans or cis? We are here. Then we wouldn't have shit to talk about. But look at y'all now, scrambling. Let's be like, but she's not a real. Y'all look stupid because y'all missing opportunity to be decent, and now y'all paying
Mm.
the price.
Especially with all the commentary coming out being like, this is not about inclusion. This is not about inclusion. She's a real woman. Like, but what? Like, what? Bro.
It is about inclusion because the exclusion of trans women is built upon the principle that there is a way to be a woman. And
Mm.
clearly, y'all thought Iman Khalif did not fit that. So don't
Correct.
tell us it's not about inclusion. Because the premise of transphobia, the arguments that you all make, is because y'all think there is a certain amount of strength that should not exist within a woman, and she possessed it. But okay, my rant is over. Also, Mary, can we talk about the fact that these Olympics seems to be white women tier galore? Can we talk about how these white women from Romania now are trying to get Jordan Childs to lose her fucking medal? Can you tell me why white bitches don't just go train and get good? Why do white women do this, Mary? She did her routine, right? Her whatever gymnastics routine or whatever. They gave her a score. Then
Who's she?
Jordan Charles,
Okay.
her coaches and stuff like that called it miscalculations. Like they didn't score her properly on something. They called it. So the Olympics committee said, you know what, we're gonna review it, and then they went back and adjusted her score, which bumped her up into bronze. Now the white women who would have otherwise had the bronze medal had they not granted our call said, you're supposed to make the call at 59, and they made it at 101. So they should not have accepted the
I
call.
want to.
104. Like you should not have accepted the call, therefore she should not win. And it's like you want to win on the technicality, and you're fighting for third place. You're some real bottom of the barrel bitches.
Uh, okay.
Do you
I
have a good
love Jordan Childs.
Me too.
But here's the thing. As you know that I coach law student trial team. And technicalities, sometimes you have to resort to them. So I love Jordan.
I strongly disagree with that, okay? Because we are talking about people's lives here when we're talking about the court of law. We're talking about athletic ability here, okay? When you do a technicality in the court of law, it's because you're trying to rescue what most likely is going to be a person of color from the state doing some bullshit. You're trying to save a life. You're in a competition about ability. So what if they called it a few seconds too late? The ability is what's being tested here. If you don't have the ability, then bitch, you don't.
But it's not the ability. It's like everybody should know these ground rules and they're enforced as
Mhm.
such.
You
So,
know what else you should know more than the ground rules, Mary? The techniques.
but
What the
that's
big
not saying
bad
that
man.
the girl didn't know the techniques.
The girls clearly didn't know. That's why they didn't rank first or second. That's why they're out here trying to fight for some crumbs.
Okay, you say crumbs, but to them that's important. A
I disagree.
third, a third, I mean, might be bottom of the barrel for you, but for some of them, it's a first medal of their country.
It's not bottom of the barrel. Being third in a world with 8 billion people
Right.
is a pretty good ranking. But what I am saying is, if you had to go through all of that to get third, just go back to the training facility and get better, baby. This ain't your ministry just yet.
I'm going to disagree with you because I've had students who have been stripped of certain titles and it's been technicalities, it's been stuff like that. So as a coach, like I fight for my kids, especially like if I know the rules, I'm going to use the rules to our advantage. I am. So if in my competition they say that you have 10 minutes after the competition is done to bring forth any complaints and no complaints were brought and 30 minutes later somebody wants to bring it, you're shit out of luck. You waited too long.
Of course, but we're not talking about the same amount of time, Mary. We are talking about inherent unfairness here. I mean, 20 minutes is a huge difference. We're talking about seconds here.
I mean, but if we leave that up for interpretation, then how many seconds is too many seconds and how many seconds is enough seconds?
Whatever a reasonable person, I mean, no reasonable person would think you should get them near what twice the amount of time. No, nobody is saying that. But if the call time is 59 seconds and somebody's at 62 seconds, what the f- is the big deal? I don't think anybody is disputing that there was a time discrepancy. But also, we are in a live competition where a lot is happening. We don't even know if Jordan's child's team is responsible for the time problem. It could have been an internal problem with the Olympics.
No, baby. No. I'm
Baby,
gonna disagree with
go
you on that
back to
one.
the training facility and go get your skills together and get your brujeria right so that Simone Biles don't come out next year because y'all gonna be embarrassed again. And
First
Jordan's
of all,
child is gonna get better because instead of whining, her ass is probably training. So she gonna come back next year, she gonna win gold, and then y'all gonna look for technicalities and y'all ain't gonna find none.
we gonna agree to disagree on this one.
You
Cause
comparing this with lawyering. This don't have nothing to do with
I'm
lawyering.
not comparing it to learning. I'm
Them
comparing it to
motherfuckers are not
competition.
doing nothing. The truth of the matter is, the technicality ain't gonna get you the championship. And I very much more appreciated my coaches who were like, "Bitch, you suck. Let's get you back in line to get your shit together, so you don't embarrass us next year." Then the coach will be like, "Oh, but for that last call, okay, but for the last call, what? Everybody has had an unfair call. Do you watch the NBA? Do you watch the NFL? Them fucking referees be calling bad shit all the time. A bad call is not going to take a champion down.
And that's why you have these rules.
But what I am telling you
Because
is,
bad calls always exist. So you have a time frame for them is a reasonable time frame to call it before calculations are made.
Mary, and what I'm telling you is, Kobe Bryant did become Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan didn't become Michael Jordan because no bad calls were made against them. They became who they were because, in spite of the bad calls, they were good. If they did that for the gold spot, I would have been rallying behind them 100%. Now, if this was the gold medal, we would have been in a completely different arena. Maybe it's the perfectionist in me.
It is.
Shame on your goddamn self coming over in front of my
It
face,
is. It
talking about
is.
some bullshit. You fighting for a bronze, bitch. You looking stupid. Go get your skills right,
No,
okay?
no. I'm gonna
Instead
disagree
of
with
being
you on
the
it.
best in this motherfucking game, go be the best in the motherfucking game. Y'all embarrassing as hell. If I was the head of the federation or coalition or whatever the fuck it's called in their countries, I would have not allowed these bitches to compete ever again. You out here embarrassing me in the media for third place, bitch? If you don't go do some motherfucking backflips and line and go stretch some damn muscle, so your ass could be Simone Biles next year, sitting here arguing over crumbs. No, if this
Alexandra.
was for gold medals, all bets are off. No, no. I would have been like,
Okay,
do whatever the fuck y'all gotta do and fight because we're talking about you fighting for the top spot, but you're out here fighting for crumbs, man. This
okay,
stupid.
but it's also they get to say, well, you don't know what's on the line for them. You don't know what's on the line for them for becoming Olympic medalists.
Let's find out, Mary, since you're so hell bent on it.
For bragging rights, they get to say, I ranked third the same year that Simone won first. Like,
And
yeah.
now you're gonna say you bought fourth.
Are you looking it up?
Oh, apparently they give them some cash or something like that.
Right. For some, in some countries, they literally give them a house and
Okay, no,
send
they get 21,000 euros as opposed to 14,000 euros. 7,000 euros got you acting like this?
yes. The fuck?
Well, go leave us out of this. Leave us
Alexandra.
out of this. Now, the gold medal get 35,000 euros. If they did that for the gold medal, I would understand. Also, the gold medal is the prize. So I would have been like, okay. But also, I'm
Man,
the kid who went home with a 95 out of 100 grade, and my mother was like, what happened to the other 2 points? So, yeah.
you mean 5 points?
No, 90. I said 95? Yeah, the
Yeah.
other five, I said that's 98. I was the kid who would go home with a 95 or a 98, and my mom would be like, what happened to them other points? And I'm like, Mom,
Okay.
this is the best grade in the class. She'd be like, what that got to do with me? Is it the best grade to get? No, I don't think so.
So much makes sense. So much makes sense now.
Now that I've done ranted about the Olympics and all of the things I'm mad about, I'm very upset. Highly, highly upset.
We can
But
tell.
nothing is more upsetting to me than Donald Trump's running mate. I think we should transition into lawyers in the news and talk about your fave, Mr. JD Vance. JD Vance Esquire has accepted to run with Donald J. Trump for the coveted presidential ticket.
Girl.
What says you about Mr. Vance? I ain't got much to say about him. Lucky for you.
I don't have much to say about him either, except that it's exactly what you were talking about before. People who are too damn loud and have nothing to back it up. That's JD Vance. And he talking too damn much for the little to nothing that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I get that he's running with Donald Trump, so he has to, put up. I don't know. Maybe it's not a persona. Maybe it's really who he is. But some of the stuff that he's been doing about like going up to Harris's plane, and was she in it when he did that?
I don't think she was on the plane. Well, actually, he didn't make contact with her. I don't know where she was, but he did not make any contact with her.
Right, as he should not.
But can you imagine what Fox News would have ran with if the roles were reversed? If the black person approached the white person in the way that like, oh my gosh, so aggressive.
It shows that she has no respect for The Office. That's probably what they're saying. We don't watch Fox News. So
The fact that Fox News and Donald Trump and JD Vance's best argument for Kamala is that she's not black when JD Vance literally has biracial children and they're acting like they don't understand the concept of being biracial is actually amusing to me because it literally shows you how little they think of their base. I'm like, are you not realizing that these people think you're stupid? This man literally has an Indian wife, and he's saying his half white, half Indian kids are biracial. They are white and Indian, but Kamala cannot be black and Indian because they think y'all so damn. They think y'all that stupid. They think y'all actually would not be able to understand. Like y'all really gonna sit here and see 2 + 2 and be like, is that 22 or is that what is that? They think y'all that dumb, and I think it's delightful. I actually really appreciate it. I really appreciate that they are really showing us what they think of the people who follow them. A bunch of idiots. And I'm going to go on record and say that I am in agreement with Donald Trump and JD Vance. I agree with them. I agree
about
with
what?
that the people who follow them are stupid. You remember when he apologized about calling people
I,
childless cat ladies?
I was just gonna bring that up.
And he said, I'm sorry, I don't have anything against cat.
I couldn't bear for once. Wait, what is that he said? Let me look it up. I couldn't bear for 1 second longer for anyone to think that I might have something against cats.
I agree. See, this is the things. See, this is why I don't have a lot to say.
He said, words have power, and mine did. I could not bear for 1 second longer for anyone to think that I might have anything against cats. I unreservedly apologize to cats.
So are you upset about this? So this is why I told you that I don't have much to say about this segment. Because again, for the second time today, I agree with that statement. This statement aligns with my politics. I am someone who has a tendency to have an extremely violent reaction to insincere apologies. If he's not sorry for what he said about women, please don't apologize. But if you're
Mm.
sorry to the cats, do apologize. I don't have no issues with that statement. To me, it is correct. We know you're a misogynist. We know you're a sexist. We know you're a bag of trash. We know you treat that woman in your house like she's a pile of trash. So spare us the bullshit. I stand behind him 100%. I'm going to stick beside him on this one. I'm going to stick beside him. What's your take on this?
It's a no for me.
Oh, you don't like the apology?
Eh.
Okay. So I guess we are on opposite ends.
I'd rather he not apologize, period.
But he has something to be sorry about. He said he's sorry to the cats. No, you don't agree?
I do not agree.
Okay. I mean, I can see how you got where you get.
Trash. Bottom of the barrel. Also, we never addressed, I don't know if you know anything about it, him and couches. Like, what is going on?
I haven't read much about it, but people said it was a rumor, like it wasn't true that he spoke about it. And I refuse to read anything that the man with the emotional intelligence of a 1-year-old and the actual intelligence of a 2-year-old have to say. People said it was just a rumor that he didn't write that he fucks couches in his book. He has a history of fucking things he don't like women. So I don't know why he wouldn't fuck a couch. I mean, he clearly doesn't like women. He hates women very much. So synonymous to fucking inanimate things. But if he didn't say, he didn't say it.
You know what my thing is how do you keep a straight face with the shit that comes out of your mouth?
I mean, that's how I feel.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
That's why I'm like, I don't understand. When you look at it, I'm like, I didn't say nothing crazy. I mean, he don't like women. He don't bear any positive feelings towards us. It borders indifference, probably hatred. Kind of like one would feel about a couch.
Was
Similar behavior.
earlier this week, you and I were talking about this. We talked about how there are men who enjoy having sexual relationships with women, but who, in all honesty, actually hate women.
That's
This
a
is what
lot.
we were talking about.
Jay Evans is such a man, and he ain't the only one. In my Kiki Palmer voice, gag is most of us know at least one.
Period.
I've dated a lot of men who don't like women.
Wow. That shit was deep. So we're not going to spend much more time on JD Vance, except that this is someone who holds a JD, who is married to apparently a brilliant woman who's
I have a
also
question for you. Do
an
you know what law
SP.
school he went to?
No,
I think he went to like Ivy League school, like Yale or something.
yeah, because that's where he met his wife.
This shows you the impact of socialization and upbringing
Correct.
over education. Because no amount of education can overcome this kind of ignorance. These men went to Yale and he still don't know the basics.
Do you think he knows that his kids are biracial?
He knows how to be a clown. I don't know if that answered your question.
I don't think it did, but
Okay. Does he know his kids are biracial? My guess is he does not, because I don't think he believes his wife is a human. So her ethnicity or race would be irrelevant. I don't think he thinks she's deserving of anything.
on that note, this week for Learning Out Loud, as we were discussing it, I thought it was actually great that you were teaching me a thing or two about immigration, and especially with this new, with the campaign and the policies that are starting to come out from the different candidates. You have something to teach us on Learning Out Loud this week. What is it?
Yeah, so one of the things that me and you were talking about is how, as a country, America is extremely xenophobic. hmm So all of the candidates are trash when it comes to immigration policies. And one of the things that is of interest to us, being that we are in the state of Florida, is that Immigration Customs Enforcement, they have jurisdiction, well, CBP, which is Border Patrol, they have jurisdiction to conduct business and enforce immigration laws within 100 miles of the border. And because of how Florida is designed as a peninsula, the entire state of Florida falls within 100 miles of the border. So they can actually conduct their operations everywhere in the state.
When you told me, I was mind blown. Can you explain that in layman terms? What does that mean?
Ma'am, that was layman terms. I'm telling you, immigration can snatch your behind wherever you are in the state because they can conduct business everywhere in the state. So if you are in the state of Florida and you are on the Greyhound bus, throughout the entire duration of the Greyhound bus, they can stop the bus and search it and snatch you up. There is no area in the state where, as an undocumented person, you will be safe from their operations, which is what makes it even more trash that the state legislature that don't even have to create immigration laws because they are not the federal government have decided to be so invested in immigration,
Hmm.
because all of these laws, we were already not protected under the immigration laws, and all of these laws only alerts CBP that, oh, this is open for business. Just come and harass our people whenever you feel like it. So it's
Which
BS.
they already can.
They already can, but it's like Could the state have put in some infrastructure, some rules, some laws to make this state a sanctuary state or a safe state? Yes, they could have, but they decided to not do that. So the lesson today in learning out loud is if you're an undocumented immigrant and you are in the state of Florida, exercise extreme caution. If you are an immigrant who's somewhat documented and you're traveling throughout the state of Florida, make sure you have some proof of your status on you. And it doesn't have to be your actual documents, it could be pictures. Make sure you have some form of some proof of your status on you because literally immigration can arrest you at any point, anywhere in the state.
So, in other words, if you are in Florida and Border Patrol asks you for your papers, do
They're
it.
they are doing their operations as normal because they are within 100 miles of the border.
The more you know. The more you know. Well, this is Lawyering Out Loud. We had a vacation. We were rested. We weren't as mad. And then we get back here and we remember why we mad all over again. And we continue to fight the good fight.
With that, friends, thank you all for watching. Follow us on social media. We are L Out Loud Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And of course, if you want to send us a message, feel free to email us at loutloudpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, bye.
Bye.